2 weeks, 2 Tongan brothers, 2 losses. Finn Bálor didn't just beat Tonga last week. Last night on SmackDown, he went out and did it again, this time to the bigger, more dangerous Tonga. Coup de grace. Lights out. 2 for 2. And on the surface, that's just a really good win streak for the Prince. But dig one layer deeper, and something way bigger is happening here. Because these aren't just random SmackDown mid-card wins. These are 2 members of the Bloodline's Tongan muscle, the MFTs, getting systematically dismantled 1 week at a time by a man who was traded to SmackDown just weeks ago. And when you put that next to what's happening on the Raw side of this story, with Solo Sikoa's patrol, with Jacob Fatu and Big Jim USO hunting for blood, you start to see the outline of something WWE hasn't said out loud yet. Is Finn Bálor about to become the guy who ends the Bloodline as we know it? Stick around, because to understand why this is such a massive deal, we need to rewind and look at exactly what went down on SmackDown, and why the timing of all this could not possibly be a coincidence. Okay, let's set the scene. SmackDown, July 17th, the MVP Arena in Albany, New York. This is the go-home show before Saturday night's main event, which means WWE needed something with teeth, something that actually moves the needle, and Finn Bálor delivered. Quick recap for anyone who missed last week. Bálor, fresh off getting traded to SmackDown, went one-on-one with Tonga and beat him clean. That already turned heads, because Tom has been positioned as legit muscle for months now. But WWE didn't stop there. This week, they doubled down and threw Bálor in against Tonga, the bigger, more physically dominant of the 2 brothers, with Tama sitting ringside. And the match told a story all on its own. Tala dominated for stretches. He tossed Bálor around like he weighed nothing. There was a spot where he attempted a chokeslam on the apron that legitimately looked like it could have ended the match right there. This wasn't a squash. This was Bálor surviving a monster. But here's the moment that matters. When Tama tried to get involved, when he climbed up onto the apron to tip the numbers back in his brother's favor, Bálor saw it coming. He knocked Tama clean off the apron. Then, after eating a big boot from Tala, Bálor recovered, crotched Tama on the top rope, and hit him with a sling blade on the floor for good measure. 2 Tongans, neutralized, simultaneously. Then he turned around, hit a shotgun dropkick on Tala, climbed up, and delivered not 1, but 2 coup de graces to finish it. Now think about that for a second. That's not a guy just winning a match. That's a guy making a statement to an entire faction. And this isn't happening in a vacuum, because over on Raw, the Bloodline situation has been absolute chaos. Solo Sikoa, a guy who has flipped allegiances more times than fans can keep track of, reportedly turned on the family again, this time in a way that's being framed as a genuine betrayal. And the fallout from that hasn't even fully hit yet. There's real chatter about Jacob Fatu and Big Jim USO coming back specifically to hunt Solo down. Add in Royce Keys, who's been thrown into the middle of the Bloodline orbit and might actually owe Solo one. Add in LaKnight, who's been on Roman Reigns' radar ever since he took out Jacob Fatu at Clash in Italy.
Add in the fact that Jey Uso has been tasked by Roman Reigns himself with winning King of the Ring and bringing the WWE title back to the family for SummerSlam. Every single piece of this puzzle is Bloodline adjacent right now. And SmackDown just quietly slid Finn Bálor directly into the middle of it. Here's the part I want you to sit with. Bálor didn't ask for this. He got traded to SmackDown, and within weeks, Creative put him on a collision course with the Tongan enforcers. That's not an accident. WWE doesn't burn a fresh trade acquisition on random mid-card programs unless they're setting up for something bigger down the line. You don't beat Tonga clean 1 week and Tonga clean the next unless the plan is to build toward a statement. A statement about who Finn Bálor is now, on this brand, and what he's capable of doing to the family that's dominated WWE storytelling for the better part of a decade. And honestly, if you WWE creative, this is a gift. Because the Bloodline's brand has always lived and died on one thing: dominance, fear. The idea that anyone who steps to them pays a price. Well, 2 Tongans just got beat back to back by the same man. That's a crack in the armor. And cracks like that don't stay small in wrestling. They get exploited. Quick pause. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, because we cover every single wrestling storyline shift like this one the moment it happens, before the mainstream sites even catch up. Okay, now let's get into the part everybody's actually here for. What is WWE actually planning with this? And why are people starting to whisper that Finn Bálor might be about to deliver the final blow to the Bloodline's future? Alright, let's talk about what's being floated backstage. And I want to be upfront, this is speculation and dirt sheet chatter, not confirmed WWE creative. But the pattern is lining up in a way that's honestly hard to ignore. According to backstage rumblings that have been circulating since Bálor's trade to SmackDown, the original plan wasn't just to give him a fresh start on the blue brand. The idea being floated is that Bálor is being positioned as the outside threat. The guy with zero history, zero baggage, and zero fear of the Bloodline mythology, who comes in and starts picking them apart individually before anyone in the family even realizes what's happening. Think about why that makes sense from a storytelling perspective. Every previous Bloodline challenger has carried baggage. Cody Rhodes had the finish the story narrative. Jey Uso had the brother versus brother history. Roman's own family members have all had this deeply personal generational weight attached to every confrontation. Bálor has none of that. He's a clean slate. And in wrestling, sometimes the most dangerous opponent for a dynasty is the one who doesn't care about the mythology at all. The guy who just sees targets and takes them out one by one without any emotional hesitation. Reason number one this makes total sense? Bálor already has the in-ring credibility to be taken seriously as a Bloodline problem. This is a former Universal Champion, a former Judgment Day founder who's literally taken down a faction before. If WWE wants to signal this guy is a real threat to the family, they don't need to build him from scratch. They just need to point the camera at what he's already done and let the resume speak for itself.
Reason number two, and this is the one that's got people buzzing, the timing lines up perfectly with the chaos already happening inside the Bloodline itself. Solo's betrayal, Fatu and Jim Uso reportedly hunting for revenge. The family is already fractured from the inside. If Bálor keeps racking up wins against Bloodline-aligned talent from the outside while the family is busy tearing itself apart internally, WWE has the perfect two-pronged collapse story. Internal betrayal plus external dismantling. That's not just good booking, that's the kind of story that gets talked about for years. And reason number three, the one that would genuinely break the internet if creative pulls the trigger, is the idea that Bálor's next step isn't just beating more Tongan muscle. It's that these wins are building toward Bálor inserting himself directly into the King of the Ring picture, and by extension, directly into Roman Reigns and Jey Uso's business. Remember, Jey's been tasked with winning the tournament specifically to bring the title back to the family. If Bálor becomes the roadblock standing between Jey and that goal, the guy who takes out the family's chosen champion on the way to SummerSlam, that's not a mid-card angle anymore. That's a program that could headline. Now, is WWE definitely going this route? Nobody outside of a very small circle in Stamford knows for sure, but when you line up the dominoes, the trade, the back-to-back Tongan victories, the interference neutralization, the timing against the Bloodline's internal implosion, and the King of the Ring picture Jey Uso is already locked into, it's not hard to see why people are connecting the dots the way they are. If WWE actually commits to this, Finn Bálor becomes the outsider who walked into the most dominant story in modern wrestling and started pulling threads until the whole thing unraveled. That's the kind of storytelling that turns a good win into a career-defining run. And honestly, given how badly the Bloodline saga needs a genuinely fresh disruptor right now, someone who isn't tangled up in decades of family drama, Bálor might be exactly the wild card this story needs. So look, nothing here is confirmed. WWE hasn't come out and said Finn Bálor is the man who ends the Bloodline. But 2 clean wins over 2 Tongan enforcers in back-to-back weeks, right as the family is falling apart from the inside, that's not nothing, that's smoke. And in wrestling, smoke usually means something's about to catch fire. Before you go, if you enjoyed breaking this down with me, do me a solid and hit subscribe, tap that bell, and drop a like. It genuinely helps this channel keep covering stories like this the second they happen. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think WWE is actually building Finn Bálor into a real threat to the Bloodline's future? Or is this just a couple of fun wins that'll fizzle out in a month? Drop your prediction in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.